Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colin Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
All right, Aaron Antis, it's 4:45 on a specific day. It's raining outside, and I thought I would do today's show about putting out fires. Because that's what running a business is like. So at this very second right now, I might have someone that'll interrupt me while we're doing the show. We'll see what happens. And we have an employee who's frustrated about their hours, and they want to make more money. That's the plan. They want to make more money. They're frustrated about their hours, but they want to make more money.
Yep.
And so, right, it's a real situation right now.
Yeah.
They're frustrated about their hours. They want more. They're working too many hours, which, by the way, they're working 40. But they want to make more money. And so there's that going on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the manager of one of these companies, he's gone. You know why he's gone? Because recently, I've noticed in the last 6 months, this guy has an emergency about every 2 days.
Ooh.
About every 2 days.
That's rough.
Yeah, he used to not have emergencies, but now he has emergencies. And he's got a unique dynamic where he and his wife just had a baby. And the way that dynamic works is every time that the wife feels tired or, had a rough night, she wants him to call in sick.
Which is the emergency.
There we go. Yeah. And so this
I've
is like the stuff
this before
you
myself.
have.
Yes,
and again, for everybody out there who needs context here, Aaron Antis runs ShawHomes.com, ShawHomes.com, one of Oklahoma's largest home building companies. I've had the opportunity to work with Aaron over 5 years, and we've worked together to grow Shaw Homes from a $16 million business into well over a $100 million business. And it's been exciting to see it grow. And I think when you listen to a show like this, you're probably not listening to a show like this while putting out a burning fire. But what happens is when you go out there and you go to one of our interactive 2-day business workshops or you read any self-help book, the tough stuff isn't implementing the strategy, in my opinion. It's how do you implement the strategy while utter chaos is occurring during the workday.
That's true. So
what I want to do is just go back to a foundational broadcast here. Foundational, and start at the very foundation. And take the edge off, take the urgency off. Now, we might get interrupted with a burning fire on today's show, but we're going to do a show. So we're going to just talk about it today, and we're going to get into it, okay? So this morning, I woke up. My alarm went off at 3. Now, I'm not saying this is a way to live life. I'm just telling you the reality of my life. So alarm went off. I was sleeping outside, slept outside last night underneath by my waterfall because it was raining last night. So I was kind of under that covered patio area. Got to tell my wife, I'm going to enjoy this rain. I was sleeping. Oh, man, it was great. I fell asleep listening to 1 Thessalonians, just passed out. My alarm set up. And then 3 o'clock, wake up. What time did you wake up?
4:30.
Okay, so you wake up 4. What time did you go to bed?
Last night I went to bed about 8 o'clock.
Okay, and
8:30.
Then I'm just being real. I like to go to bed at 9, wake up at 3. That's my normal. But everybody out there, we need to figure out right now, what's your normal? And I'm not telling you that what Aaron said is right. What I'm saying is right. I'm saying you out there need to schedule a time you're going to go to bed and a time you're going to wake up. So and every morning my alarm goes off. This is my reaction. Oh, crap. Who set the alarm for this
mine's
time?
The same, yeah.
I don't want it to be reality.
I don't either. I usually go to bed at 10 and get up at 4:30, and I never enjoy it when I get up at 4:30.
And I have different moves that I have developed over the years. One move is that I immediately hop in the shower. Immediately.
Oh, can I got to share mine.
Share.
This
is the stuff before the stuff, because this is how you run a $100 million home building company. This is how you grow a massive companies. This is how it works. Aaron, back to you.
Okay, so I used to put my phone right next to my bed so that when the alarm goes off, it's within reach, and I can hit that snooze button. The snooze button.
Yeah.
And now I've moved it far enough away that the only way I can get to it, I keep my room really, really cold when I go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get out from under the warm, comfortable covers.
Yep.
Got to go tiptoe across the cold room.
There it is, yes.
And then by that point, there's no point in hitting the snooze because I'm awake, I'm in the cold, and it's like, crap. So
now, I'm just telling you, these are things. The other day, I had a big conference had to do and wanted to do. I was excited to do, and I had a lot of people that were in town for the conference, and they were over at my home till later.
Yep.
And so these crazy people were at my house till like 10 o'clock, which is I go to bed at 9, you know. So I still wake up at 3, though. So I'm like, man, I'm going to really need to be turbocharged. So I wake up, alarm goes off at 3, jump in the pool. I just jump in the pool. And it is, I did just jump right in. I'm like, poof, I went in because that was like my plan. You know what? I was going to jump in that pool. And it was cold. I did not enjoy it. But again, this is the stuff before the stuff. So then I get to work.
Awake.
I was awake, yeah. So then I get in the shower, do the whole thing, get ready, come to work.
Yep.
And I come to work, and every day I make a to-do list. I'm going to walk you through my to-do list today, okay? So I'm pulling up my to-do list here for accountability, transparency, whatever. So I'm looking at my to-do list. The yellow stuff is my to-do list. If you're listening right now, it's a yellow to-do list. I have it. It's a Google sheet, or you might call it a spreadsheet, an Excel sheet. And what I do is I type in my to-do list what I have to do today. And on the left column, I try to prioritize it. So on the left column, I enumerate what I think is most important. And on the right column, I put the action items. So these are things I have to do today. So I had to call Katie about uploading all the interviews from Las Vegas. And guess what? I already called her. We did it. It's done. Delete it. Boom. Next. Then I had to call this guy named Joseph Bosco about booking his band. They have a praise and worship band with kind of a Jamaican vibe to play at one of our in-person workshops. And I called him, but it isn't confirmed yet.
Yep.
I just made the pitch. We'll see if he accepts, whatever. Yeah. Next is I had to make sure we dropped off $1 haircut cards to the mall. We have a tiny home in the mall right now, and if people go to and they do a tour of the tiny home, if they leave a review about the quality of the craftsmanship on the Outside Inc. Google listing, they have a chance to win the tiny home, the log cabin. Nice. And we want to give them a gift card for thanking them, so we have gift cards for free haircuts, essentially, for $1 haircuts. Then I had to call Terry. I want to get Joseph Z to speak at the Reawaken America tour. We'll see if that happens or not. Yep. Also, I had to reach out to Jonathan Kahn. I want him to come speak at Sheridan Church and on the Reawaken tour. Yep. Next is I had to get the newsletter back to Beloved Cheesecakes and add in their up-tempo music and their lower thirds. And we did it. I'm deleting it. Then I have these new signs I'm working on, Aaron, because on the property, a lot of people, they get here, like Marty had this big revival event, right?
Yeah, this
and
last
people
weekend.
are wandering around the property. They really don't know, what is this? What's
They're
happening?
Like, what did I just drive on to?
And part of this is caused by you, by the way. I saw you at church on Sunday, and you said, we're at the new church, and the church we go to, they took over a nightclub called The Caravan, and they're turning it from a tavern into a tabernacle, from a club into a church. Yep. And you had said, hey, I'm looking around, kind of getting orientated, and you said, looks like they're putting signage up here, and we were just talking about signage. Yeah. And it occurred to me, Marty has this revival going on, and I probably got asked 5 times, is this a petting zoo? Is this a place where I can pet animals? And so
that's funny.
I sketched it out at church, this sign right here.
I like it.
And it says Camp Clark and Chicken Palace. It says Chicken Palace and Petting Zoo.
And Petting Zoo.
Conceived in 1980. And it says here, free animal petting every day. And free drinks tomorrow, but it's constructed out of wood, and that the idea of free drinks tomorrow to me is incredible, because I think that that's a funny thing.
It is a funny thing.
I was born in 1980, so conceived 1980. It kind of works. I got that idea. So that's going to be going up my newest wood sign.
And it all came from me going, I think there was a lady over there who couldn't find which direction to go to get her child to that age group.
Well, it started that thought, and as Pastor Jackson was talking about things, my mind kind of went into the revival that Marty was hosting in our office.
So you didn't hear any of the service. You were just drawing Camp Clark and
Dude,
Chicken Palace. I'm going to tell Pastor.
I took copious notes during his sermon. His sermon was about this woman that was faking the funk and pretending to have given to God that which they were supposed to give, and they actually hid money from God, and so God struck them down dead. That was the sermon. So, but we go back to this. So then I had this idea of, the Tulsa World is writing articles right now because they're not happy that I'm calling Tulsa Jerusalem. So I'm working on a sign that says Tulsa Jerusalem. Welcome to Tulsa Jerusalem, where Jesus is king. That's kind of a sign I'm working on when you pull into the property. Then I'm working on another sign because I have this new path that I'm expanding. And it talks about, it says, the word is the lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I thought it'd be a good tie-in there.
I love that verse. Yeah.
So I'm working through it. Anyway, so that's the sign thing. But I had to grab that idea. When you said, Clay, the signage here, they're doing some signage. People are trying to figure out where to go. I thought to myself, and I wrote it down on my clipboard, sign, because I had that thought.
Yeah.
And I can't control when God gives me a thought.
No, you can't.
Or
Ideas.
honestly, I can't control when Satan gives me a thought either. So what I try to do is I try to sort it. Is this God or is this Satan? Seriously. And then I take notes so I can come back to it later. We continue. A lady reached out to me at church on Sunday. She's like, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of your gold guy, your precious metals guy. And I was like, okay. So I made a note. I need to text her about the Beverly Hills Precious Metals, a company that we work with, bh-pm.com.
Yep.
Then Andrew mentioned, hey, the ZipRecruiter ad is down. And what keeps happening here is we have people that show up at my office that I think what it is I think people show up at the office for the interview and they are wanting to talk about inclusion and all of the things that they want us to do. And I let them know we hire based upon the best candidates. Thank you for asking the question about inclusion. And we had a person, though, that, wasn't sure what gender they were.
Right.
And they reached out to certain hiring platforms and said that we weren't a good place to be. So I had to get that platform. I have to dispute that situation. I have to let them know I did not hire somebody because of what gender they are or aren't. But again, this is real stuff. This is the stuff that happens in business.
Yeah.
And then so I have that going on. I like to have about 25 candidates at every interview we do on Wednesday nights. And last week, a couple weeks ago, we had like 50. And the week before, we had like 7. So I was going, why don't we have 50 or 7 or 0? So I'm having Devin really manage that so we can get to 25 candidates per week. I'm interviewing, not 50, so I'm working on that.
Yep.
I have images I wanted to add to our Google map because, again, this was all the event that Marty hosted. So many people kept asking me, what is this place? And so I thought I need to add more images to the Google map. So if you're looking for it, it becomes more obvious where you're going.
Yep.
Because some of Marty's attendees said, I put in the address, I drove by, couldn't find it, didn't see it, didn't know what I was looking for, really.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to update that. So that's what that is. And then anyway, I'm just saying I've got a list here of today, about 60 items.
Yeah.
On my list, and I'm not going to remember what those items are.
No.
So every morning before I start my day, this is what I do. I like to listen to the audio version of the Bible. I'm not saying this to one-up anybody. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm doing that while I'm getting ready for the day.
Yep.
Then when I go to work, I try to listen to some sort of like instrumental music of some kind while I take notes and organize my day. Now, do you organize your day in the middle of the day, or do you wait till the chaos to start?
Oh, God, no, I can't do that. That would be
You don't wait for the chaos?
No, I don't wait for the chaos.
Why?
Because that's not the time. I need to be thinking when it's quiet.
There it is.
And then I need to be acting when it's not. And so if I'm in my thinking mode while it's chaos around me, it's not going to go well. I've done that in the past, and that it didn't work out well at all. So for me, I get up early in the morning.
Yep.
I get my day started. And actually, a little move that I did, because when I first met you and you told me you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I don't think I can do 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't think 3 is a good move. I just go to bed at 9. So.
No, but I thought I do need to get up earlier.
Yeah.
And so I started with, I could get up at 5.
Yeah.
I think I actually started with, I could get up at 5:30, because I think at the time I was getting up at 6 or 6:30. And then I waited, and a couple months later, I took it 15 minutes earlier. A couple months later, 15 minutes earlier. So now I'm at 4:30. And 4:30 is kind of a good mojo for me, but basically, I get up, I immediately run out my door after I get up, and I go to the gym before I have time to think about it. Because if I think about it, I'm going to talk myself out of going to the gym.
Right.
And I just want to be, healthy. And really health is my thing, not being muscular or anything. And so I go to the gym, work out with a coach, because otherwise, if I don't have somebody who's waiting on me there that I'm accountable to, I don't do as well, and I won't be as consistent. And so I go and I do that. I come back to my house. I make my wife a cup of coffee and myself a cup of coffee, and I take it into her. I go sit in the living room and I spend time listening to whatever I'm listening to. Usually it's somebody teaching on the Bible, or I'm studying the Bible, because a lot of time I'll be doing messages at Remnant Church or whatever. So, and then I'll do that for a little while, have a little prayer time, and then I go jump in the shower, get ready for work, and take off.
Just said, this is very important for somebody out there listening. This is something you just said that I didn't know you were going to mention. You mentioned that you and your wife have coffee before you start the day and that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
That would never happen in my world. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea that happens in your world. I'm just saying in my world, that's not going to happen. I'll tell you why. I go to bed at 9. My wife's usually up till like 1. midnight, talking to my daughter about what knows. I don't even know that they're talking to my daughters, plural. I don't even know what they're talking about. Am I talking to my son? I don't know. I'm going to bed. But my whole thing is I wake up early. That's my flow. Now, somebody out there, you're married to somebody who has a different schedule pattern than you. All I'm saying is we got to design. The theme here is we have to intentionally design our day before the chaos begins. Now, once the day starts, I have a calendar. You have a calendar too. I block out my calendar, and this is what happened today. Is our first meeting. So the first time I interacted with a human other than myself was at 6.
Yep.
And that was our coaches meeting. So every morning I coach the coaches. So we have people on our team who are here. Their job is to lead you down the proven path. And so I always tell people what I do for business is like bumper bowling for business. It's like paint by numbers. I make sure that you'll have massive success, but you have to do the work. Yep. So I'll teach you what to do, but you have to do it. And so our first meeting was at 6. That was great. No drama. Because the people that are coaches for us, they don't call in sick.
Right.
They don't have car problems.
No.
They just, it's remarkable, by the way, how our coaches, how all of our seasoned coaches are the people that don't have car problems. It's amazing how that works. Then at 7 o'clock, there's some car problem people.
Oh, yeah.
This is when the whole staff shows up, and this is where you start hearing, I couldn't make it in because my car wouldn't start.
I didn't know the traffic was going to be so heavy today.
And God bless her, a lady today, she says to me, she says, so what am I going to do today? I go, every day. You get here at 7, you write search engine content.
You do the same thing.
And then at 10, you switch and you move into this different position. And you do that until 3. Every day, 4 days a week. That's what you do. And we've had this conversation. I was very nice, but I said, hey, we've had this conversation, I think, somewhere between 3 and 15 times. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, yeah, you're right. But it's just like she doesn't want to do what's needed to do. Yep. Then I had a 7 o'clock meeting today. I won't mention who it was, but the 7 o'clock meeting, I know I can kind of set an alarm by it. The meeting's supposed to start at 7, and they always come in about 7:15 going high-speed Kramer. And they come in, and they're like...
Do they actually open the door really fast like Kramer in the hair?
No, they do. They come in, though, and it's like, hey, sorry, traffic, crazy, coffee, what? Crazy. Frustrating. Wow. But it's going to happen.
You wouldn't believe what happened to me this morning.
But I mean, you can set an alarm by it. You can just sort of plan. Then I have an 8, and the 8 is always going to be a Jose Cano show. It's always going to happen. Oh, hey, by the way, we have a burning fire we're solving right now. Give me 1 second, folks. We're coming right back. Solving a burning fire. It's going to be seconds that go by on the podcast, but it'll be minutes in your life. Here we go. All right, and we're back. And so what happened was we had a very high-quality member of our team that just informed me about the situation, and we have a manager that's absent because they're always having an emergency, and the manager should have handled that, but they didn't. So I had to deal with it because the manager's always having an emergency since their wife had a baby.
I got to witness it.
It just happened. We solved it, though. It's all good.
Yeah. So then it took a couple minutes.
Yeah. Now, again, but at 8 o'clock, I mean, I could set a watch by it. I know this person's going to miss that meeting. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because that's what this person does. Now, my 9 o'clock meeting, again, I schedule my schedule so it's the same every time. My 9 o'clock, a very nice person calls me and says, hey, I cannot make the meeting today. But he's the kind of guy that's on it. He always is very accurate. He writes down stuff, and he says, hey, I'm going to be out of town this week. Can't make it. Boom.
Yep.
Then my 10 o'clock, he calls me. We have our meeting. We always have our meeting. It's great. My 10:30 had our meeting. It was great.
Hey, can I point something out?
Yeah, sure.
You know, I was out of town on a little trip there for a couple weeks. Yeah. And every week at the exact time that we were supposed to meet, even though I was out of town, did you notice I called you at exactly the time?
Because it's in it's in the calendar. You block out time.
I don't show up late.
It's more. I'm just telling you, if you look at the calendar here, the people that are successful are the ones that do what they say they're going to do. It's just how it is, okay? So then you look at the next. We got an appointment at 11. These people kept their appointment time. It's crazy. Between 12 and 1, I always block out time for what's called 13-point assessments.
Yep.
And that's where if somebody wants to become a client, they can go to thrivetimeshow.com. And they can schedule a free 13-point assessment. So I block out time for that. I didn't have any of those today at noon. Yep. Then at 1 o'clock, I had a meeting. I had an interview I did. That was fine. At 2 o'clock, I had an interview with America's General Flynn. That went just great. Yep. 3 o'clock, had an interview with Amanda Grace. That went great. Yep. 4 o'clock, I had a 13-point assessment availability. Didn't have one scheduled then at that point. We only take on 160 clients, and I usually do about 4 or 5 of these 13-point assessments a week. Then, my 4:30 missed, and this is the third time the same person has rescheduled. And I'm not shocked.
Yeah,
it's just a pattern. Mm-hmm. And I look at it, and I say, clearly this person needs a time management course.
I got to listen to that conversation. It was, Well, I'm in my car. Did we say this time or
Is it
this
that time?
I didn't realize it was getting that close, and
And
I'm
then-
still driving.
And then when
can't
I always
do it
want,
yet.
I always say, well, let me just send the schedule. Let's nail down the new time, and I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
And then every time it's always frustration. Like, don't you have my email? Don't you have my email already? It's just that kind of personality. It's just interesting. So then, I got one more interview here at 5:30. But that's how it is. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because the people that are successful have found a way every single day to intentionally design their day before life gets stressful. It's how it happens.
Yes, it is.
And so I won't get myself in trouble on today's show, but I have an ongoing legal battle. Some of you know about it, some of you don't. But this is on our business podcast, so you can look it up if you want to. But it's basically, I am a shameless, unapologetic, not going to stop teller of the truth. That's what I do. And so I'm doing that. And, so when the way it works in litigation is a lot of times you'll have one attorney represents one team, one attorney represents the other team, and they're going to want to take your entire day to get together to do legal meetings. And so what I like to do is I like to say, I'm going to do my normal day, and whatever legal proceeding this may be, I'm going to do my normal day, but when you need me, you can call me, and I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And I have these principles I've agreed to before the shooting started. I've agreed, no matter what, zero compromise. I will not at all meet you halfway. I'm 100% right. You're 100% wrong. I'm not changing. And so it's hilarious when you get the calls from these attorneys who are trying to deal with this. They're like, okay, Mr. Clark, client A says ABC 1, 2, 3. Client B says 1, 2, 3. How do you want to respond? I'm like, back to my core thing I just said. And I go back to my principle A, principle B, go back to it. This is what happened. That's what I'm asking for. Thank you. Call me later. And it just goes on. Well, anyway, I'm not kidding. This particular legal situation required 9 hours of attorneys being in a room together.
Oh, God.
But it took me about 9 minutes, bro. Because I just keep on rocking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and do that all day. I'm just telling you, folks, if you don't have a clear understanding of what you want your day to become, you're going to drift. Now, let's keep going, Aaron. So you're going Shaw Homes now, okay? So Shaw, we're switching hats. We're going to Shaw.
Yeah.
What time is your first interaction with humans who are not you? Like at Shaw, first with the employees.
Yeah, it's different on different days because of how my team is scheduled.
Oh, quit filibustering.
But basically, it starts about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, 8 o'clock in the morning.
And it goes, usually until about 6 p.m.
Now,
every
let's
day.
still way back in the day. Let's go back a couple weeks. Let's go back before your Alaskan trip, okay?
Okay.
Kind of picture a day in your mind. Typical day.
Yep.
When does the first burning fire start as a result of somebody failing to plan who's not you?
If I look at my emails, which I don't do before 8 in the morning, then it's going to start usually real early.
Yeah, it's always a burning fire. Like,
Yeah, there's.
I mean, with
it's
this
gonna
many
be like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, because a lot of the construction guys, they get out there super early.
Yeah.
And something is wrong.
With-
Some house, they put in the foundation 1 foot 4 inches over the line
Yeah.
that you can't build over because you're outside of the building line and into the easement that the city won't let you get into. This happened just this last week, and we literally, to change it, the reason we get the phone call is because the city puts a sign in the front yard saying that there's going to be a public hearing about being into the easement, when all we had to do is like pick up the form boards and move them over. They wanted to turn it into this whole thing. And so the entire neighborhood sees this huge sign, which is gigantic. I mean, it's like this gigantic sign saying that there's going to be a public hearing about this.
Right.
Because that's how the city handles it. And so we're getting all these phone calls from all these angry people in the neighborhood wondering if their house was also built across the property line or the easement. So, stuff like that.
It
That's
happens.
5 in the morning, like literally the first
Now,
person in the neighborhood.
hey, Devin, are you out there? Devin? I think, folks, this is a code for Devin. Devin! All right, let's see if she's here. Let's see if she's right. Hey, quick question for you. Did that person ever return from review getting? No. Because they're supposed to be back here. Yeah? Okay. So I just check in there. Because they're supposed to be there until 4, and then every day till 4. Get here at 7, and then they're supposed to go there at 10, and then come back, leave at 4 every day. It will never change. And there's always some screwiness going on. Okay. So, but again, this is just a real thing. And every day,
Oh, yeah.
And poor Devin out there, God bless her, her job is to manage said person. And this person's job, I'm going to be very vague. I don't want to get myself sued on today's show. But this person has a job. They're supposed to get here at 7, work until 10. At 10 o'clock, go and do something else, and come back here at 5. It is 5:13.
It's 5:13 right
and they're
now.
not here.
They're not here.
And I'm looking at what they did today because their job is supposed to be to gather objective reviews for a client. And I look here and I'm going, well, the last one was a couple hours ago, 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago. And I'm looking here and I'm going, well, I'm looking at, I don't know, because they aren't here.
Right.
But they're also not doing their job there.
Probably not.
I wonder what they're doing.
They must be doing something else.
I bet you they found a way to keep charging me, though, for the hours.
I had this happen to me before. I had a very interesting one. Do you remember when I first put up
cameras?
Video cameras?
I do remember this. This is great.
Home?
By the way, every business owner out there, you need to put up cameras in your business. You need to install call recording, clarityvoice.com, clarityvoice.com.
It was really funny because I get a phone call from one of the people where said cameras were being placed.
Yep.
And, hey, can I have a conversation with you?
Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Just privately.
Yeah. There's a little situation going on. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it.
Because my integrity is at stake here. I want to put that out there for integrity.
I mean, you know me, Aaron. I'm the guy you can always count on.
We are a team. The circle of trust is what we're on together.
And I just wanted to make sure that it's okay with you.
Yeah, because I wanted you to know.
I know that I have to be in the model home at noon, and I'm supposed to be there from noon till 6.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to clear it with you and make sure you know that usually I start working out at noon.
Make sure we're in the clear.
So if you happen to see me lifting weights between like noon and 1, I don't want it to be weird between us.
I don't want you to feel like that you're paying me to work out during the middle of the day.
Yeah, and just so you know that big file cabinet in the corner? That's actually where I keep the weights.
Right.
So when you see me take them out of there.
When you see me squat thrust and yell something like, somebody please spot me. That doesn't mean.
And then that's just from noon till 1. But then at 1, I leave to go pick my kids up from daycare. Yeah. And I'm usually, it's like 1 is on one side of town, 1's on the other side of town. So it takes me till about 3.
I got to get there in a car.
Yeah.
I got to go. And I'm not going to break the speed limit.
And I know my wife is a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And
I know
she
that
could
matters.
go do it.
That matters to you, though, that you care about my family.
She's stressed out about it because it's a lot of driving.
Which reminds me of the guy today who has an emergency. Okay, continue.
And so I'm going to be working out from noon to 1.
Working out.
And then I'm going to be gone from 1 to 3 driving, getting the kids and
picking
everything.
up the kids.
But from 3 till 6, man, I am on it.
I am on it.
I'm your guy.
It might feel like you're paying me to pick up my kids and to work out, but that's not what's happening.
Not at all.
Johnny on the spot here.
Now that you have the cameras, I just wanted to make sure we had an understanding.
And this is the kind of jackassery that we deal with. Now, again, I'm looking here. I'm showing you an example. This is a very basic job.
Yep.
Person is supposed to be gathering objective reviews during the hours of between 10 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what's crazy is that, like, I can freely on my podcast to have these transparent things. A lot of people listen, they go, I can't believe you talk about your team that way on your show. I can do that because most of the people that work here aren't going to listen to the show.
Oh, no.
You know why they're not going to listen to the show?
Because they're not that person.
Right, because they're not into business.
No.
They're not into success. They don't care about that. Now, what's going to happen today is at the end of the day, now, again, we have a lot of great employees on my team, and they do listen to the show.
You do have a lot of great
And the great employees, they'll say, I know you were talking about it. It's so funny. Because it's just, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the stuff behind the stuff. I mean, you could go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. You could download my new book, How to Become Sustainably Rich. You could read it cover to cover. But if you don't learn how to manage people and specifically managing yourself and your calendar and the distressing emotions that come with dealing with people that don't care, it gets weird. Now, let me tell you what I'm going to do today. Okay, I'm going to do one more show here at 5:30. Yep. And are you going to be here? Or are you on a hot date night tonight? I
got hot date night.
You're leaving here at 5:30?
I have to leave here.
This is the kind of boundaries we're talking about. That's why you and I aren't dating. 1, it's unethical. And 2, it's because you have boundaries. I mean, this is a thing, right?
This is true. You know my calendar. I go date my wife every Tuesday night. I leave here at 5:30.
And it would be weird if someone had on their calendar to go date your wife and it wasn't you. That's why everybody out there, I encourage you to put in your calendar to go date your wife so someone else won't, okay?
That's true.
So let's be serious. Okay, so we go late. So 5:30, I'm doing my final show today.
Yep.
Then I'm going to leave fast.
Out of here.
I'm in the van.
Yep.
I'm going to go. I'm going to drive down the road, hanging a right, going west, going east. What are you going, west and east? No, I'm going to go west, and I loop around east. I'm going east now on the creek. I'm headed east, but I had to go west first. I head across the river, go across the river. Then I go get up to Yale, about 91st and Yale. I exit, turn on then I go left, going north. Then I head over there to Whole Foods. And I'm going to get the various things I need because we have family night tonight.
Clay, first of all, the sound effects make it sound like you're going fast.
Let me tell you how I'm actually driving.
I've been in the vehicle with you. There you go. Those are more accurate.
Let me tell you, I'm driving in the white van and people running are passing me.
This is true.
We've got like elderly people who are jogging and they're passing me going, "Move, come on, buddy, speed it up." I got little babies that are learning to walk and they're like passing me.
It's a guy on a walker with the tennis balls on the bottom.
Father Time is passing me.
Literally passing you while you're driving.
Come on, buddy, move it. So that's what's happening. So, but again, this is very important that we learn this stuff. Now, the tools you're going to need to succeed, and on part 2 of today's show, we're going to share with you the Shaw Homes success story. But the tools you're going to need to succeed is you need to have a calendar, and you got to have a to-do list.
Yep.
And if you have a calendar and a to-do list, you will be organized and not perpetually pissed, and you will have success. But what will happen is, this is the final teaching moment before we go into our success story today, is there will be certain people in your life that will take away the happiness that you have, and it will happen. So let me give you an example. There's a nefarious person in my life. I'm sure no one out there has ever had a nefarious person in your life, but I have a nefarious person in my life. And if you own multiple companies, you know what I'm talking about. And this particular person, they thought this is their business plan. Okay, their business plan is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a business that directly competes with you, and I'm going to build my business by taking clients away from your business.
Oh,
that's the move.
It's called stealing.
Right.
Yeah.
But their first move was, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to have sexual relations with the employees that work on your team. So I'm going to be in a management position, and I'm going to hit on the married women, and I'm going to do moves. Nice. And so I found the guy doing the moves.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to go on. We got to move on.
Can't do that.
Yeah. And then a lot of people were like, you can't, Clay, I mean, you can't fire someone for having extramarital relationships with people that aren't their wife at the workplace, can you? Well, the person was also nefarious in other areas. Right. So we had to terminate the person, and now we had to terminate them for being late, for not doing their job. This is a real thing. Yeah. But then this person's like, I'm going to start my own business to compete with you. And so they call some of our former employees or current employees and come join me, come join the dark side. And so today, true story, the person's last place of employment before they started their nefarious company to compete with me was here. And so the debt collectors are very resourceful people.
Well, they find the last place of employment.
And so they were boop, 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 boop. They're calling our call center today. Excuse me, do you know the whereabouts of yada yada? I'm calling on behalf of yada yada collections. I'm going, my call center reps, we got a guy calling about collections, and he's trying to get a hold of this guy. I go, what's the guy's name? He says, oh, it's got 2 syllables for the first name and 1 syllable for the last name. And I'm going, tell me it's this person, please. And he goes, oh, yeah. And I go, so the person who's screwing me has debt collectors calling? They go, yeah, I think there's 3 different companies calling. I go, oh, wow. So this person probably owes money to 3 different entities.
Yeah.
And part of me wanted to smile, but maybe that's not the pro-Christ part. I don't know. I got to work through it. But I was so excited, like I was opening up a present before Christmas. And I was like, yes. And they're like, you're excited? I'm like, yes, give them their cell phone number.
Oh my gosh.
Give them their address. Give it to them. Send them a photo of their last day at work. I mean, make the connection happen, baby. Send them over here, and I'll tell them how to find them. This is exciting.
That's bad.
And the person that was screwing me over in business and the person that was trying to screw employees, turns out they continue to not have a calendar.
It turns out they
not
screwed
have a
their
to-do
business
list.
up.
And it's happening again.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there's a huge divide out there between successful people and non-successful people. And a lot of it has to do with your ability to manage time and your calendar. So on part 2 of today's show, you're going to hear the Shaw Homes success story. And I just encourage you, grab a pen and a pad. Take notes, because what you're going to learn here is life-changing. And then if you want to join us at an in-person workshop, we help so many people to build super successful companies. And if you're out there listening and you have a sound mind and a healthy fear of the Lord, and you're somebody out there who's not nefarious, we can help you build a super successful company. I think about the success stories that are right here in our midst right now. Paul Solon's a mutual friend of ours. Yeah. Paul, his business is booming. Outside Inc. He's just doing great. I think about the success stories of Papa Gallows Pizzeria in Florida, just doing great. I think about Josh Spurl, the accountant and CPA in Canada, just doing great. I think about all 160 clients, and they're all doing great.
Yeah, Roof Nerds.
Roof Nerds. Marty Grisham is rocking the Casbah. OxyFresh just opened up its 517th location. 517 franchises. When I started working with them, they had less than 10 locations. Now they have 517 locations. Wow. And again, folks, all these things we teach you on this show can turn into success in your life if you're willing to block out time to get intentional about blocking out time for working on what matters. You got to get a to-do list every day. Aaron, final thoughts on time management before we wrap up part 1 of today's show, because we're going to hear more about your success story on part 2. But for part 1 here, any other final tips about just managing your day intentionally?
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, we all have the same number of hours in our day, right? It's just how we spend them. And for me, time is a very valuable thing. My father passed away at 59 years of age. That's a very young man. You know, there's a day that's appointed unto man to leave this world. And, you know, the mark that you're going to make on it and the people you're going to impact is very important in the scheme of the big picture. You know, you are here for a purpose. I believe that there is a call on every person's life to do something for the kingdom of God. And so, you know, when we go out and we get successful in business, we make more money, but that's just about impacting other people's lives. You know, money is like a hammer. We can use it to tear things down, or we can use it to build things up. And if you manage that time well, which God has given you, because we don't know how short it is, then you can have a bigger impact on the world. And so, you know, I'm 50. My dad passed away at 59. I'm not planning on...
Oh, you got 9 more years, buddy.
I'm not planning on leaving this world in 9 years, but if I was to, then I need to, you know, I've only got so much time left, and it's always finite for all of us.
I ask you one question here, because you said that money's like a hammer.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's husband was playing Hide the Hammer.
Not the same.
Isn't that kind of weird? If you haven't looked that up, folks, look up Nancy Pelosi's husband and why was he playing Hide the Hammer with another dude? So follow the analogy. Think about it, though. Think about it. If money's like a hammer and he's playing Hide the Hammer, what does that mean?
I got a visual, but I don't think I want it.
Quick, hide the money in my butt safe, Batman.
Oh, no. Oh, Lord.
That's not good. That's Sodom and Gomorrah. That's not how you do it.
No.
That's not how you do it. You don't want to play Hide the Hammer with Paul Pelosi.
Next time my analogy will be it's like an amplifier.
Money's like an amplifier, and Paul Pelosi, but he's saying, let's play Hide the Hammer. What does that mean? Stay tuned for part 2 of today's show with Aaron Antis of ShawHomes.com. Remember, folks, the word Shaw and the word Homes. The word Homes starts with an H. The word hammer starts with an H. What does that mean? Stay tuned. Part 2.
Preparation H. Is that all related?
Shaka Baba. Don't hide the hammer, folks.
Light that Sparkfire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network with great shows like the Salesman Podcast. Today we'll be breaking down how Clay Clark grew ShawHomes.com from 16 million to 160 million, and how to 10x your business, not tomorrow, but now. To drop these value bombs, I have brought Clay Clark and Aaron Antis into EO Fire Studios. Clay is a co-founder of 5 Kids, the former Oklahoma U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, the founder of several multi-million-dollar companies, an Amazon bestselling author, and the host of the Thrive Time show, Business School Without the BS podcast. And today, Fire Nation, we'll talk with Clay and Aaron about a merit-based pay system. We'll talk about turnkey marketing systems that produce quality leads, your irresistible offer, how to grow exponentially, and so much more. And a big thank you for sponsoring today's episode goes to Clay and our sponsors. The Goal Digger podcast, hosted by Jenna Kuchar, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Tune in and discover your dream career with productivity tips, business hacks, and so much more. Jenna's recent episode on 4 questions to qualify your digital product idea is a must listen. Listen to Goal Digger wherever you get your podcasts. Aaron, say what's up to Fire Nation and share something that you believe about becoming successful that most people disagree with.
What's going on, Fire Nation? Something that I would say is sort of controversial in being successful is the level to which you must have oversight of your team. Like, for example, home building company, we've got all these model homes all over the state of Oklahoma, and I can't be there in all those remote locations, so I have video cameras there. I was told that it was immoral, unethical, and just the wrong thing to do to be watching people while they're working for us. And so that became a thing for a short period of time. And then I found out the people who were calling it immoral, unethical, and just not the right thing to do were doing things in my model homes that were immoral, unethical, and just not the right thing to do, and therefore didn't want to be seen. So I found that honesty loves accountability. And so, those people who were following our process and doing the things they were supposed to be doing, they didn't have a problem with it.
Honesty loves accountability and is definitely not scared of accountability. I love that. And again, Fire Nation, we're talking about how Clay Clark and Aaron, of course, grew ShawHomes.com from $16 million to $160 million. And we're talking about how to 10X your business, Fire Nation, not tomorrow, but now. And Aaron, you installed a merit-based pay system to hire and inspire high-quality team members. Talk to us about this process.
Yeah, well, I think that most people, they want to get paid what they're worth instead of getting paid what the job is worth. And when you install a system like that, you get a different character level. You get a different quality level of employee. When you pay somebody what the job is worth, then, I find that most people show up to work every day to try and find something to do other than their job and as little as possible without getting fired. And people who show up in a merit-based pay system are the kind of people that are looking to grow as a person, and they're looking to grow with the company that they're a part of. So it's been very successful for us, and it's really made a huge impact in the character and the quality of people that we've hired on.
And Fire Nation, it really does come back to talking about accountability. I mean, people that are doing the right things, they love being held accountable. They love having this merit-based opportunity that's going to reward them for the extra that they do or for the great work that they do. And we don't just have Aaron on the mic, as I mentioned in the introduction. We have Mr. Clay Clark standing by as well. And this is an individual that's been on Entrepreneurs on Fire over 12 times now. And you know, Fire Nation, that he is a systems individual, because without systems, a business will fail. So Clay, let's dive into your methods to teach others to create turnkey marketing systems that produce what we want most of all, quality leads.
Well, when Aaron Antis of ShawHomes.com, when you first reached out to us, you'd already built Shaw Homes to a point where the company was doing $16 million of revenue. I believe that's the accurate number. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm looking for when people go to thrivetimeshow.com /EOFire, and again, for anybody out there listening, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com /EOFire, if you schedule a free 13-point assessment for me, I'm looking, first off, are you coachable? And I'll just give you a quote here from the E-Myth author, Michael Gerber, who happens to be a friend of mine. I've met him. He says, the difference between great people and everyone else is that great people create their lives, while everyone else is created by their lives, passively waiting to see where life takes them next. The difference between the two is living fully and just existing. So I'm looking for people that clearly know where they want to go. So Aaron was very clear. He says, I've got ShawHomes.com, a business that I run. I want to grow it to this particular size, and what I need some help doing that. And so what we sat down with Aaron to do was to identify who his ideal and likely buyers are. So ShawHomes.com, they sell what I would consider to be semi-custom homes in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So their ideal and likely buyer is somebody, primarily a female, who is looking to buy a home and who wants to custom design a home to a certain point. They want to live in a neighborhood, but they want to custom design it. So you start to think about, okay, who is your ideal and likely buyer? So step one, who is your ideal and likely buyer? Step two, you determine what is the best way to reach your ideal and likely buyers. Where do your ideal and likely buyers go? And so for Aaron Antis's business, we discovered that his ideal and likely buyers typically go to Google, one. Two, they go on social media, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And three, they drive by the potential parts of town they want to live in, because Aaron has model homes that are already erected. There are homes that are being constructed, homes, their neighborhoods they just began. And so what we had to do was install three systems. One I call signs and wonders. We had to make sure that the signs were big, orange. Everybody who was driving by had to take notice of these signs and wonder, wow, I wonder what shawhomes.com is. Two, we had to make sure that anybody who was going online looking for Tulsa new homes or new homes Tulsa or new homes in Tulsa, buy a new home in Tulsa, anybody typing in any term related to buying a new house in Tulsa could find shawhomes.com. And the third thing we had to do is I had to make sure that the people going on social media would find Shaw Homes for the right reasons. And so Aaron and I worked diligently together. What I did is after that assessment, I laid out a specific plan of what we needed to do. And Aaron said this, and I'll never forget it. He said, anything you ask me to do, I will do it. And I remember he said that, and I thought, whatever. You know why I thought that, JLD? Because I've worked with so many people over the years, and usually people might knock out 90% of it or 80% of it or 95% of it. But Aaron diligently knocked out each thing we did. So with our program, we have a weekly coaching meeting. In each meeting, we assign what needs to be done. We identify what needs to be done. We discuss what needs to be done. And then when we solve, so identify, discuss, solve. So in that meeting, we leave with action steps. So he has homework to do and my team has homework to do, because in our coaching program, we have these workshops every 2 months that we do, but we also have weekly work that we're doing that's all included in this coaching package. And I have to get the photography, videography, web development, online ads, workflows. I have to get all that done. My team has to get that done before I see Aaron next week. And I have to do that for all 160 clients I have, and he has to get his work done before we see each other next week. So it really requires him to put in work and my team to put in work. And I'm telling you, shawhomes.com has now grown from $16 million of revenue to, Aaron, what was the actual, the high number that you're at there for?
It was like 162.
$162 million, JLD. And that's not as a result of drifting around. That's a result of diligently implementing action steps each and every week over the past 4 to 5 years here.
And one thing that I know you did, because we've talked about this before, and it's one of the things I love most about you, Clay, that you make sure happens, and that frankly, 99% of people who do not follow the right process do not have, is an irresistible offer. Because an irresistible offer for first-time customers, it is critical. So Clay, talk about how we need to develop this, maybe how you did this with Aaron. Then I want to hear from Aaron as well about why this was such a game changer.
Well, I'm going to throw the listeners out there 3 examples of an irresistible offer. So one, for anybody out there listening to this show right now, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, you're going to see that we have, you've lowered your standards and we've convinced you to leave Puerto Rico and to travel all the way to Oklahoma to join us for the February in-person Thrive Time Show workshop. Now, this workshop, I tell people, if you come to the workshop, it's $250. It's going to be great. You're also going to get a copy of John Lee Dumas. So you're going to get a copy of your new book there. They're going to meet you. They're going to meet myself. They're going to meet many, many hundreds of successful entrepreneurs. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. It's 15 hours of training. But what I do to make it irresistible is I tell people there's a money-back guarantee. And people go, seriously? I've never been to a conference where there's a money-back guarantee. And then I say, we also let we let people, this will blow someone's mind, we let people name their price if they're in a financially tight situation, because I grew up poor. Aaron, you know what it's like to not have money.
Oh, yeah.
And when you are in a spot where you need a hand up, you don't need a hand out, but maybe you're down to your last $50 and you want to get out to a workshop and you're going, getting there alone to Tulsa, Oklahoma to attend that workshop is going to cost me some money. So if I get my money back, if I don't like it, and I can name my price, why would I not do it? So that's the no-brainers we always do for the conferences. People love it. Again, you can learn more at thrivetimeshow.com. The second is for Shaw Homes. If you go to Shaw Homes right now, the no-brainer offer they have, and Aaron can walk you through the mechanics, is they have got this deal where you can save up to $40,000 on a new home. Now, you can't do that unless you're the size of Shaw Homes, and they have different financial and mortgage partners they work with, lending partners that have allowed them to make that arrangement. But when someone looks at that, they go, wow, I can save up to 40 grand. How's that possible? Then when you see that they are the highest rated and most reviewed company in Oklahoma, you can read the Google reviews, and somebody might say, they probably faked those reviews. You can actually click on the testimonials, the video testimonials, and you're like, are those a bunch of holograms or are those real people? You can see not just 10, not 20, not 100, but hundreds of video testimonials at shawhomes.com. So again, it's a no-brainer. And then there's like level 1, level 2. It's just so hot, you can't say no. And the third example I'll give you, for anybody out there, they might have listened to a previous interview you and I did, but Tip Top Canine is a brand that I've coached with and worked with for years, and they are one of the top dog training companies in America. And there's a celebrity, I cannot mention his name. I want to. I just talked to him last night. He's a celebrity. Aaron, you know him. We're going to talk to him later today. He reached out to Tip Top Canine just to see if the no-brainer actually was valid. And the no-brainer works like this. It's $1 for your first lesson. Yeah. So here's one of the wealthiest people in our area. He goes to tiptopcanine.com, and he has one of these massive guard dogs. And he's like, well, I'm going to schedule a $1 lesson, and I'm going to see if it's good. And he called me last night. I was getting Christmas gifts for my kids, and he calls me and goes, dude, that 2-hour training for $1 was the best dog training I've ever seen in my life. That is a hot deal. And again, it's a $1 for your first training, but then you also have video testimonials. You have Google reviews. You've got to make the deal so hot, it almost burns the retina of your ideal and likely buyer. It has to be so hot, people have to put on sunblock just to visit your website. Hey.
Wow, I mean, Fire Nation, if you're not a little fired up right now, check your post. Aaron, what do you want to add to this?
Well, yeah, I would say when I first started with Clay, I was not cued into this. And Clay, as he said earlier, I was the person who said, I already know everything I know. I want to know what you know. So I said, I'm open. You tell me what you think I need to do, and I'm going to do it. And this was one of the first things, was creating an offer that was irresistible for our ideal and likely buyer. And what happened was, we went from the number of leads we were currently getting online and through the phone. Our leads went up 1,200% within a matter of 30 days, 1,200%. And so when we put out our incentive, all of a sudden, the ideal and likely buyers that have been browsing turned into buyers. People went from browsing to buying very quickly. And that was a huge thing for us. Our exponential takeoff in our interest in our product. We had a great product. We just had to get the people who were out there browsing. They're going to maybe look at 50 websites online, but they're only going to visit 10% of those builders in person. And we just needed to make the cut of being in the top 10%. And once we did that, another thing we did is create a system and a process that's so good when they come in that it's just a laser show of awesomeness when they show up at our model home.
Yep.
And we turned those browsers into buyers with the combination of those two things.
Fire Nation, you heard the phrase a few times, browsers into buyers. And the sad thing is, so many of you don't even know how many browsers you have, because they come, they look, they leave, they do nothing. And you're just like, why am I not getting any leads? Well, because you don't have an irresistible offer. So they're glancing at what you have, what you're offering, and then they're gone forever. But man, when you can turn those browsers into real buyers, everything changes. And we have a lot of exciting things to talk about when we get back from thanking our sponsors. When's the last time you referred to the tech and software you use for your business as too easy? Eeks, it's probably been a while, unless you're using HubSpot. HubSpot is a kind of tech that works and that makes it easy for you to do what every business should be able to do: have immediate access to accurate, up-to-date reports and data, have a platform that allows your team to work together towards a common goal, and to serve your customers at the highest level. If you're using tech that makes it difficult to access data, or one that takes months, even years to learn how to use, then it's time to make a change. HubSpot's multiple hubs and 1,000 plus integrations allow companies to adapt quickly, align their teams, and achieve adoption like never before. HubSpot leads the way when it comes to empowering teams to do their best work by eliminating friction with connected, easy-to-use tools. And HubSpot's centralized platform lets you spend less time managing software and more time serving your customers. Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com. All right, we're back, and we have a few more things to talk about on the business side of things. But first off, Clay did kind of mention something I want to spend a little more time on, and that is a conference that I am going to be a guest at in Tulsa in February. It's going to be fantastic. And Fire Nation, the offer is extended specifically to you, our listeners, Fire Nation. And, I'm going through, Clay, and I love this, the how do we stack up section. And you mentioned a couple other good conferences.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of focus on Tony Robbins for a second, who, by the way, I've been at Tony Robbins conferences. I can vouch that everything here is true. At Thrive Time Show, you get practical step-by-step business training. At Tony Robbins, inspiring motivational speeches. That's fine. Inspiring is good. You get hands-on business conferences at the Thrive Time Show. Tony Robbins, you get a fire walking session. You get business system creation at the Thrive Time Show conference. You get motivation focused at Tony Robbins. You get steps to grow your business when you're hanging out with me and Clay Clark at this conference. You get potential huck coal injuries at Tony Robbins. I mean, it goes on and on like this, Fire Nation. It's really funny, but it's actually really true as well. When you attend this conference, you are going to walk away with these value bombs you hear in the episodes times 100, because you get a couple days with us instead of just 20, 25, 30 minutes max with us. So just picture the real time in-person learning. Let me tell you, it's crazy. Clay, what do you want to add to this?
Well, I'll just say this. I always went to these business conferences as a young guy. See, I grew up very poor, and I defined poor as having no money, and all of the boxes in our cabinets were yellow. Every brand was yellow. And so we would go, everything was a great value brand. And so my mom and dad, my dad worked at Quick Trip gas stations. He delivered pizzas at Domino's. My mom was working hard, hucking advertisements, selling yellow pages, that kind of thing. And I was like 15 years old. I was thinking, how can I become rich? I'm so tired of being poor, So I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. We've had him on our show, the Thrive Time Show. I read, Think and Grow Rich. I read all these books, The Service Profit Chain, Harvard, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And what I struggled with was putting it all together. And so I needed to pay people to teach me how to put it together. So I started spending time with Dr. Robert Zellner, the top optometrist in Oklahoma. I began spending time with the NBA Hall of Fame great David Robinson. I began spending time with people, big names people would know, and I would pay these people thousands of dollars for a day of their time. I'm not exaggerating. I paid Michael Levine, one of the top PR guys in the world, $20,000 for 8 hours of his time. This was the PR guy for Nike, Michael Jackson, and Prince. And I knew that if he could do the PR for Nike, Michael Jackson, and Prince, he could help me learn PR. And so to save up money for those interactions, I had to work at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV, and 6 months of my savings would pay for 2 hours with a guru. And so I always thought once I achieved success with my company, DJConnection.com, which I started and sold over 10 years ago. But when I built that business, we were doing 4,000 weddings and corporate events a year at DJConnection.com. And I remember thinking to myself, if I ever do business workshops, if I ever do them, I'm going to make them interactive. I'm going to make it 2 days. I'm going to pack in 16 hours of training, and I'm going to stop every 30 minutes and ask anybody if they have questions. And I am not going to move on until every question is answered, because there are no bad students. There are just bad teachers. I'm not going to leave people feeling full of holes. They're going to leave feeling whole. I'm going to make sure when people leave that event, they are going to absolutely love it, and they're going to laugh. And they're going to learn, and then I want to bring up actual clients that have had success. And I have no problem with celebrities and people that are well known, but I want to bring up people that have actually gone from the bottom to the top as well. And so we're going to do that. And then, you know what? I want to serve them some Cajun food on Friday, because my dad likes Cajun food, and we couldn't ever afford to eat a lot of Cajun food. So we're going to serve Cajun food on Friday. And people that say, I don't like Cajun food, that's okay. We have other food on Friday. And then Saturday, we're going to serve you. So anyway, it's a 2-day event. It's 15, almost 16 hours of training. It's from 7 a.m. to 3. Money back guarantee. You can get that ticket right now at thrivetimeshow.com/EO Fire. And if you click on the testimonials button, you can see we have over 2,000 video testimonials of clients I have worked with since 2006 that have had life-changing results. You can also see the thousands of Google reviews, and you can also see when you come to my office, this event is at my building. So when you come to my Dojo of Mojo faux show, when you show up inside the office here, when you show up inside the Lion's Den, you're going to be surrounded by success stories. Aaron, you've seen this. I mean, we're here right now. There are hundreds of success stories.
Hundreds.
How would you describe the energy at this thing, Aaron?
Oh, I would say it's off the charts. It's like Disneyland for entrepreneurs here. It blows people's mind when not just when they walk in the building, but before they walk in the building. Everything that's outside, everything that's so intentional that you've done. And I think that people come into this environment, it spurs on creativity for them. But, one of the things that's the most difficult is, ideas are easy. It's implementation that's difficult. And one of the things that's so powerful about the events is that when people show up, you give them ideas, but then you walk them through how to execute it. And that's the thing that creates the power for them.
And they're all in a workbook there. So when you come to the event, you're following, or we're all literally on the same page following a workshop. So we're going to start off with marketing and branding. Then we're going to move into building sales systems. And then we're going to move into how to hire people and how to inspire people, how to train people, how to retain people. Then we're going to get into accounting. I know somebody says, I don't want to talk about accounting. It sounds so boring. But we have to do the math. We got to do the math. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to do accounting. Then we're going to get into how to build scalable workflows, checklists, processes, how to build a handbook, an employee handbook, how to fire people, how to hire people, all of the nitty-gritty details. I call them the messy middle. All that messy middle stuff that a lot of times you kind of glance over, and then we pause every half hour for questions, and then we throw in JLD coming all the way from Puerto Rico. It's going to be hot.
I mean, Fire Nation, listen, nothing against Tulsa. I've never been there. I know it's going to be amazing. I'm sure it's amazing. It's not easy to get me out of Puerto Rico. It's not easy to get me out of the Caribbean, especially during the month of February when it's absolutely perfect weather here. But guess what? I'm coming to Tulsa. It's going to be an amazing 2 days. I'm actually in there for 4 days because, I'm going to be there before the event starts and I'll be there through the event ending. I want to see you. I want to hang out with you. thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. Get your ticket. Like Clay said, it's $250. If you don't feel like there's a value for any reason, it's a money back guarantee for sure. And if you're listening right now and you're struggling financially, just fill out the form. Let Clay's team know. They'll work with you to see if they can make it happen because, again, Clay wants to help you. So we're going to circle back to this at the end, but I want to say, if we're not growing, Aaron, we're dying. So let's talk about you developing a scalable business model that allows you to grow your business exponentially. I mean, 16 million to 160 million, that is exponentially. Talk to us.
First, you have to nail it. Then you can scale it. So we had to nail down the system. I had actually sold about $750 million in real estate in my career prior to meeting Clay. So I knew how to sell, but what I didn't know how to do is how to implement that across a wide platform with a lot of different people. So what Clay did is he helped me to really pull out all the pieces and parts of what I was doing and put them into a scalable system. So, I'm great on the phone when I'm talking to a client, but maybe somebody else who's brand new doesn't know how to talk on the phone. So we recorded my phone calls. We turned it into a script. I get my new person on the phone and I can coach them through staying on the script. We, on the phone calls, we get the same 5 objections to setting an appointment over and over again. Or in person, we get the same maybe 7 objections to the floor plan over and over again. So we would take what my responses were to those those questions or those objections, and we would turn it into a simple, scalable way to overcome each of those objections. And we ended up being able to scale it out where the people who were working for us knew exactly what to do in every situation they came up against. So I could bring somebody on board who worked, had never worked in our business before, and within a very short period of time, get them up and running, and took it from having the system that I had nailed down and scaling it across a lot of people. And it really accelerated the success of the people who came on board, because with the system being very much, the people who are motivated by being successful and merit-based pay, they come on board and they love to be able to get success early and often. And those type of people become passionate about your business. They go from being just an employee to being a disciple of the system because they see it working. And that's how you scale the system.
Clay, brother, I want you to take us home. We talked about a lot of awesome stuff today. I mean, we talked about merit-based pay systems. We talked about creating systems. We talked about how to grow and develop a scalable business model, an irresistible offer. Of course, we talked about the amazing opportunity for everybody hearing our voice right now to come to Tulsa in early February, to hang out with me, to hang out with you, to get the best conference experience of their life with a complete money-back guarantee. How do you want to end this conversation?
Well, I just want to say, action is the real measure of intelligence, to quote Napoleon Hill. And I remember sitting in my parents' basement thinking, I am not going to be poor anymore. I remember having that thought. So I went to my guidance counselor and I tried to figure out, is there any way I can drop out of high school? I know it sounds crazy because my business, my DJ company was kind of starting to grow a little bit. And he was like, I don't advise that, but why don't you graduate high school early and go to college early? So I'm like, okay. So I went to college early. So I'm going to college as a high school student. And then I remember thinking, you know what? I'm going to get not one job or two. I'm going to get three. I'm going to work at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And you know what? I'm going to eat one meal a day. I'm literally going to eat one meal a day and have no air conditioning and no heat. And I'm going to save everything I possibly can so I can buy my first DJ system. So I didn't have to rent from a guy named Rob who I met at a bowling alley. True story. So I started saving that money, delaying gratification. Then I thought I could buy a second system and a third. And pretty soon my wife and I, we got married at the age of 20. I looked up, and we're doing on an average weekend, 60 wedding or corporate events per week, sound, lights, the vans, all that stuff. And I started thinking, if I can delay gratification for 2 more years, I'll never really have to work again. So there I was at the age of 22, and people are going, what does your dad do for a living? Because my house was monstrous. People were going, what does your dad do? Seriously, what does he do? And so, but it was that decision to live intentionally. So I would just leave people with this idea. Action is the real measure of intelligence. If you've listened to this show at all, or you want to listen to this show backwards, you'll quickly discover frontwards and backwards. I'm not that smart. I took algebra 3 times, but what I am is I'm very organized, I'm very diligent, and I teach proven systems. If you're listening out there right now and you have a soul and a sound mind that works, you have the capacity and the tenacity needed to become successful. But you have to believe that right now, at this very moment, that this is your time. You can do it. So you need to go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, find a way to get to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some people say, I don't know if I can do it. Find a way to do it. Do it as though your future success depends upon it. I've got 5 great kids who my kids today, I'm sure are very appreciative that I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And there's a lot of employees who work here that are very appreciative of that decision I made. But for me, it was the decision to live below my means and to get 3 jobs. And for everybody out there, I encourage you to take action today because again, action is the real measure of intelligence. Go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. Either schedule a 13-point assessment with me or book a ticket to one of these in-person 2-day interactive conferences in February. And you can meet John Lee Dumas. And I promise you, as an added bonus, you don't have to meet me. If you want to avoid me and you just want to meet JLD, we can make that happen.
And Fire Nation, you're getting a signed copy of my book because Clay bought a book for every single attendee. You're going to walk up to me. You're going to hand me the book. I'm going to sign it for you. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to high five. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. And nobody has to walk over hot coals, I promise. Aaron, before we let everyone go here today, is there anything you want to add to this conversation?
Yeah, I would just say, I remember when I first started working with Clay, I knew a lot of successful people in our town, in our state, and I started realizing that somehow they were all connected to him and being coached by him. So I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if this could be the right thing for me. And I would just say to that person who's wondering for themselves, should I come to this event or should I not come to this event? I would say you can't go into the past and change the past, but you can make a decision today to have a new future. And I think you should take that leap of faith. Clay's a great coach. He's a great business teacher. And I think this is going to be the moment where that future that you saw when you were hoping and dreaming about what was going to happen, this is where that future gets born.
Fire Nation, if the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up from what we talked about here today, please check that pulse.
Hey, Clay Clark and my Thrive peeps. It's Steve Currington, as you can tell. Although I'm not wearing my signature green shirt as usual, but I am riding in my signature green Lamborghini. And I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of Thrive and all the guys at Thrive Time and the show and everything that you guys have done. At Total Ending Concepts, we have had tremendous growth and a lot of things changing, especially on the marketing front. And from a coaching perspective and from a web presence and branding, and our internet leads are up. Everything is hammering on all cylinders, and really we're just trying to figure out how we can leverage the systems and the processes that we're learning at Thrive more in our business. So now we're setting up a lead tracking system that has been long overdue, and we're doing lots of stuff. But I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to Thrive and Clay Clark and Dr. Z and everybody for all the help in helping us grow our business and hopefully buy more Lamborghinis like this the more we sell. So appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
The Thrive Time Show. 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you...
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Morrow. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, and we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us, make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.